without being adequately good, if not excellent, in any language, preferably English. It's very difficult to be good in any other subjects. Some students face problems in science, others in economics. There might be specific subject related learning deficiencies that you are suffering from. But most likely, the reason you are not good in those subjects is that you have poor, if not imperfect, language skills. If you find it difficult to understand a story that you read, then understanding macroeconomics and a nuclear reaction will also be difficult. When you are trying to understand a story, all you need is pure language skills. But when you try to or have to understand physics or economics, you need to understand the language as well as the many concepts involved. So it's a double whammy, you can call it. It's hard. Even if you had a great language capacity, concepts might be baffling. On top of that, add the requirement of mathematical and logical thinking skills. Then you get an unsurmountable obstacle. So, what I'm getting at, dear students, is that you should not hide your inadequacy in English or any language. It is so hard for students who are in grade 11, 12, or bachelor's and even master's degree to say that they can't understand a passage or that they can't understand certain words. It is easier to give excuses like I got nervous or there was not enough time when you have to write and there are so many grammatical errors and the ideas are totally disorganizedly presented. However, you must come out straight and at least be truthful to yourself. Tell yourself that you have failed yourself at some point in your life, which led to you having inadequate language skills. And it's okay. There are many reasons we could have screwed up. We might have been lazy in our primary and secondary school days. We might have had lazy teachers. We might have been part of a very large classroom that made it impossible to get feedback. We might have had been sick or problems at home that prevented us from attending school. During the coronavirus lockdown, we might have wasted our time playing video games or scrolling the reels and TikToks. Whatever the reason you find yourself in this precarious situation whereby you can neither read properly nor write proficiently, it doesn't matter now. Instead, what matters is that you choose to find a solution. This book is for you. It is not for primary or secondary school students. They still have the time. Then, if they too miss the boat of proper learning, then this book will be something that they can fall back upon to redeem themselves, like you are doing now. This chapter on language and English is especially for those students who were left behind in primary and secondary school. I provide adult ways based on the four brain learning approach to master English. See, most, I can say even 100% of students, including you and the other 90% who are calling themselves poor in English, are at least literate It means that they can understand letters, words, and read sentences. They understand how to write basic ideas, and that is enough to start in the journey of redemption and transformation that will make you into a master of languages. For teachers, this book might seem unnecessary. At least this is my findings when I talk to teachers. One day, my theory of the four brain learning approach will gain traction, and all of the teachers will accept its relevance. But that might be just my wishful thinking, and it's okay. Still, if you are a teacher and you read this far, I want to talk to you about this particular chapter on language and its importance. I wish that you were a language or especially an English teacher. However, it doesn't matter because language, as I told you, is a necessity to master any other subjects. As teachers, it's almost impossible to know the learning deficiency each of the 50 students in our class has. Consequently, we make a lot of assumptions that if they have reached grade 11, they must have mastered all the skills that were required up till grade 10. But that's a purely wishful thinking. You know that. However, there's nothing you can do about it. So this is where this chapter comes in. I did the hard job of talking to each of the 50 students of yours. Of course, I'm talking figuratively and not literally. They opened up to me and they exposed their vulnerability. I learned about problems they face in all the subjects, including English and Nepali. Mind you, the students I'm talking about are 15 years up till 25 years old. They are literate, but they have very poor English. So this whole chapter is basically the summation of all the counseling sessions I had with hundreds of them. I just hope that you too can be very sensitive and identify the students who are hiding their ignorance of language. Then, using the content of this chapter, you too can help them. I have a great vision of an ideal school or college. Of course, you have guessed it, it's a place where students are helped to learn using the four brain learning approach instead of the single brain learning approach of today. But it's a very lofty vision that at this current stage is impractical and needs a further research and development to see the light of the day. But if you are a principal or a college owner and you are reading this chapter as well as the subsequent 11 chapters, I just want you to realize that you've been dealt a bad hand mostly. The students who claim to have got a certain degree do not have the skills from that earlier degree required. Consequently, if the raw material itself is of low standard, then how can you get a great output that will glorify the name of your institution? Given that we are in 2025 and the birth rate across all the paths in the world is decreasing, we will definitely have a shortage of customers or students. So it's not like we can become choosy in the long run. We will have to admit students who are less capable than they're supposed to be. So in this chapter, you will find out what lower capacity means in terms of language. I have provided many solutions. At this current stage, I don't have a systematic rollout plan that would help institutions provide the forebrain learning approach to their thousands of students. However, I will eventually reach that stage in my R&D process. For now, I will be content if you are aware of the language problems that your students are facing. Dear parents, our children are screwed in more ways than we could have been screwed in our own times. Today, if a student is supposed to study at home and read his textbook, but somehow doesn't understand the particular passage, then there is the mobile phone. Yes, this is the beginning of the end. In the age of generation of the baby boomers, then Generation X, and even the millennials, the earlier scenario was not possible. If we did not understand a particular passage and we were stuck in our room, then since we did not have anything else to do, we would rack our brain, look at a dictionary, or find somebody who could tell us what this passage meant. There was nothing else to do. Even if we had something to do, like going out with friends, then it's not that easy, or it can't be done immediately. So rather than be bored and just sleep, we try to write down the passage, hopefully making us understand, or we read out loud. We repeated the process 10 times, 20 times, then eventually something stuck. But the later generation of the millennials and all the generation of Z have got a mobile device with internet connection, giving them access to social media sites and video games. Consequently, what happened is more and more students fail to acquire the skills of English or language beyond literacy. That is very sad. Then, because they cannot read and understand, since they did not do their homeworks in the primary school, they don't understand any other subjects properly. Even in math, you need to understand the particular question being asked to use your logic. Then, out of desperation and frustration, those children of ours revert to the easiest and cheapest and most available medicine, that is the mobile phone. In this way, they further become handicapped in the English and languages. By now, they can't not only read, but also they can't write. And lately, the Gen Z are having fun with artificial intelligence, ChatGPT or Gemini, making them do their homework. That is, they are outsourcing the writing process. They don't know what they are doing. That's not going to solve the problem of theirs. Providing the essay to the teacher was not the objective. The teacher was not going to sell their essay like the owner of factory would sell the widget made by the workers. You can't blame the students for their stupidity, but that's the way they are. Writing an essay by hand was supposed to be done in order to improve writing skills, but how would they know? Now, all of this will combine to produce students who are disillusioned by the process of education itself. As I told you, in our generation and earlier generations, and up till the earlier millennium generation, this was not the problem. There was no confusion about what education could do and what was its limitation. But now, if you can talk as an influencer on YouTube or TikTok, then you're great. However, even those influencers would need to have reading and writing skills in order to do the research to create great material. But again, who's going to teach the suckers who are their millions of viewers? Again, we can't blame them. There are many other problems that could lead to your children being poor in languages, like lack of communication at home or simply neglect, or it could be abusive languages. But I'm not going through these sources of language problems in this book. Dear parents, all I want from you in this chapter is to try to find out whether your children have got problems in studies because they have poor English or language skills. If that is so, then use the material in this book to help them. I have written this chapter so that even if you are not yourself highly educated, you still can guide your child into mastering English or languages. Finally, my message to those of you who are at the top of the food chain of education is that your assumptions are wrong, especially in the case of Generation Z and the upcoming Alpha and the next ones. We need to accept the fact that students will cheat their way to the top. We can't expect everybody to redeem themselves voluntarily. So, this chapter is something that you should incorporate in the syllabus of higher classes like class 11, 12, even bachelor's and master's degree. Yes, it might seem outrageous that somebody who even doesn't know what is a paragraph 4 should be studying a master's degree. I beg to differ because I have friends who are mentors for PhD students, and he has to advise so-called scholars on how to organize their content into paragraphs. Let's not even talk about the poor vocabulary and the subject verb agreements and so on. No, I don't believe that standard tests like IELTS or TOEFL will solve the problem. It's bigger than that. But again, that's not what I'm attempting to do. That is to challenge or destroy the current syllabus or educational system. What I do know is it needs some upgrading, and this book and especially this chapter will be very useful. So now let's start into how to fill the hole that many students dug themselves into in terms of English and language.